How many ways can you play 3 of 11 songs? Jason, what do you think? Is that a permutation or a combination? If you're playing the songs. Why do you think a combination? This one's tricky. This is actually a permutation, and it is tricky. And the difference would be because you're physically playing the songs and not just choosing songs to play. You're physically playing the songs. So you're listening to one song first, and then a second song, and then a third song. But you're listening to the music, and you have to listen to one of those songs first, and then second, and then third. So this one's really tricky. This is a permutation. I'm going to play them in a certain order. I can't play them all at the same time. So there are 11 songs, and we are picking 3 of them to play. So you're going out for a jog. You're going to listen to one song first, one song second, one song third. Depending on how long your jog is, you might have to listen to a couple more after that. So just a little refresher in the calculator. You're going to math, over to probability. This is a permutation, so make sure you hit number 2. And then we have 11 songs. We're listening to 3 of them. And then you hit enter, and we have 990 ways. So that, make sure you remember how to do that for tomorrow. I don't know how to use that calculator. 990 ways. We'll just say 990 ways. That's a lot. 990 different ways that we can listen to 3 songs from our album. Bill, what did you say for number 3? How many ways can you choose 2 captains from the team? Yeah, that is a combination. They're both captains. It's the same, you could say, position hierarchy. It's not a captain and a co-captain. They're just 2 captains. How many players are on the team, Bill? And we're choosing 2 captains. What did you get this one for this one, Bill? We could say 66 ways or 66 pairs of captains. That one is a combination. So combination, because we're just choosing 2 captains. And again, they're both captains, so they could be co-captains. So that would be a combination. So the last thing that we're going to look at today is multiple events. And this was the ice cream problem that we did yesterday in class, where you have 2 or more events occurring. So 2 or more events occurring. Yesterday, we were looking at types of ice cream and types of sundae toppings. And we were choosing 2 from a list of 5 different types of ice cream and like 3 from a list of maybe 7 or 8 different types of toppings. So we have multiple options to choose from. There are 3 more examples that we are going to do. And we're going to look at the combination of these multiple events. So we have some new releases coming out. There are 41 new releases, 41 total. 12 of them are comedies, 8 are action, 7 are drama, 5 are suspense, and then there's 9 family movies. The first question just says, how many ways can you choose 3 movies? So we're not watching them. We're just picking 3 movies. So it's a combination since we're picking 3 movies. Haley, how many total movies do I have to choose from? 41. And because it doesn't say a specific type of movie, we're just picking 3 of the movies. We would have 41 C3. So it gave us a whole bunch of extra information that I don't need for part A. So we would have 41 C3. So we go to math, over to probability, choosing combination, and then 41 C3. And that's 10,660. So we got 10,660 different ways we could choose those movies. All right, the next one. Suppose you want to rent exactly 2 comedies and then 3 family movies. So now I have 2 different types of movies that we're talking about. So we're first going to look at the comedies. Emma, how many comedies are there to choose from? 12. How many comedies do we want to pick of those 12? 2. So we're going to first calculate the number of ways we can get a comedy movie. And that's 12 total comedy movies. We're picking 2 of them. And Emma, when you get an answer there, let me know. Perfect, 66. All right, so that number represents our comedies. We'll remember this number. The next type of movie is the family movie. Well, we're also going to see how many ways we could pick a family movie. So, Nakai, how many family movies are there to choose from? So we want to pick 3 out of how many total? What does it say the total in the initial statement? That's 41 total movies, but how many of them are family movies? 9, yeah. So we've got 9 and we're picking 3 of them. Can you plug that in your calculator, see what you get, Nakai? $504? The number seems good. Is that right? Yeah, 504. Did you use a P or a C? There we go. 84? There we go. No worries. All right. So the last part of this, how many different ways can you do this? So I have 66 ways for comedy, 84 ways for family, but we want to figure out the ways that we could get both. The counting principle says if you take your number of choices and multiply those options together, here's my comedy and here's my family, then I can find the total number of ways. So this is a multi-step problem because there's multiple events happening. So we calculated 1, the comedies, we calculated the family movies, and now we're going to multiply those 2 numbers together. So what do you get when you multiply those 2 numbers together? How many total options?
5,500.
So that's called finding the combination of multiple events. So you find the first event, you find the second event, and then you multiply to get the total number of options for both of them to happen. So let's see if we can answer this last question. Suppose you want to rent exactly 4 dramas, 3 actions, and 2 suspense movies. So think of them separately first. So we have drama, action, and suspense. Each one of those, we need to find a combination for individually. So look at the initial problem that they gave us. How many drama movies are there to choose from? Jason, how many drama movies are there to choose from? And we want to pick 4 of them. What is 7C4? 35. All right, now we have action. TJ, how many action movies are there? So we want to pick how many total action from the original information given? And how many are we picking of those 8? So we're picking 3 of those 8. So 8 action movies. We want to pick 3 of the 8 action movies. So TJ, in your calculator, 8C3. $56, is that what you said? Yeah. And Emma, finally, suspense. How many suspense movies are there? And we want to pick 2 of them. So Emma, what is 5C2? So finally, the counting principle. To find the total number of different ways, you're multiplying those 3 numbers together. So we found each individual combination, and then we multiply the 3 combinations together. Haley, do you have that number? Pretty big number. So 35 times 56 and then times 10. Are there any questions? We'll skip the 2 checkpoint problems at the bottom. All right, so we are going to go directly into Google Classroom and start the review worksheet to prepare for tomorrow's test. And it did post, so you should see it at the top of this stream. 10.4, 10.5 review worksheet. Looks like it posted 5 minutes ago. So if you want to open that review worksheet up. Your test looks identical to this review worksheet. It's broken up in the same exact order, has the same types of questions. So it starts off by asking questions about the fundamental counting principle. And if you look at number 1, a student chooses 1 of 3 math classes, 1 of 11 art classes, 1 of 8 science classes. How many choices are there for the 3 classes? Because we're only picking 1 of them, I don't have to do a combination because I'm just getting 1. I'm not taking 2 of 3 math classes, 4 of the 11 English class or art classes, and maybe 2 of the 8 science classes. So this is just a regular counting principle where you take the 3 math choices, 11 art choices, so math, art, and then science, in the 8 science classes. So you're just multiplying them together. Peyton, question?
Is this what you just posted for Thursday, May 6th?
Yes.
Mine
Yeah,
has,
it should have.
at the top of mine has like n equals 5, r equals 5.
Yeah, I see that. It definitely is not the right worksheet, huh? Thank you, Peyton. Let me see. All right. How about you guys delete that? Thanks for letting me know, Peyton. see if I can get the right one. Here it is. Okay, thank you, Peyton. Okay, since I'm jumping. All right, if you go back to that Google Classroom, click on the sections 10.4 and 10.5 review worksheet. That's the one we're working on. I apologize for having the wrong one posted there. All right. Does it look like this now? Yes. Okay, that's better. All right, so use the fundamental counting principle. We have 3 math classes, 11 art classes, 8 science classes. How many possible choices are there for the 3 classes? So we would take the 3, the 11, and the 8 and multiply those together. That's the counting principle. Jason, what do you get when you take 3 times 11 times 8? So the fundamental counting principle just says you take your number of options, choices, you multiply them together. If you look down at the bottom of the page, number 5, a little typo here. Boy, I'm messing up today. Number 5 should say n equals 4 and r equals 4. So look at that there. Number 5 wants you to find the number of permutations for the given values. So this is just a calculator problem. N is 4, R is 4. So you're doing 4P4 in your calculator. It should look like numbers 8 through 10. And then you're going to do the same exact thing for the next group of problems as well. 11 through 16. Instead, it says combination. So just make sure you're reading that word in the directions. Is it a permutation or is it a combination? So I would use the notation, plug it in the calculator, and then those don't need labels because they're not word problems. So that's just kind of practicing plugging in the calculator. The last group of problems are where you've got to decide, is it a permutation or combination? And there will be a good number of problems on your quiz test tomorrow where you have to first decide and then calculate. So as you're reading through, remember, if it's in order, it's a permutation. So maybe you want to place the word order to remind yourself that permutation have a number or an order. So first, second, and third place, you line up in a line or a batting order. A combination has no order. So there's about 15 minutes. If you have questions, if you're at home, please shout out the number and we can look at it together. We'll probably go through a couple of problems, maybe 2 or 3 at the beginning of class tomorrow, just to give you a quick refresher before we take the test on permutations, combinations, and the counting principle. And again, the test looks very similar to this review worksheet. So please don't hesitate to ask a question as you're working.